Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Dry Donut in the True Off My Chest subreddit. The post is titled, "I caught my husband cheating on me with his stepsister. I just need a place to let this out." Last week, I caught my husband Jack cheating on me with his stepsister Claire. I went out with a friend last Saturday and planned to stay at her house. Jack didn't want to be alone all night, so he said he would just go hang out with his stepsister, and they ended up going to a bar. I was feeling unwell and just wanted my bed, so I decided to get an Uber and head home. I was not expecting to walk in on them having sex on the couch. I literally threw up on the floor by the front door. They told me they were drunk and that it just kind of happened. I screamed at them both to leave. Jack refused to leave and refused to sleep on the couch, so I ended up leaving anyway and went back to my friends. I am still in shock that he actually slept with Claire. I think I am going to file for a divorce. I am so overwhelmed and uncomfortable. Has anyone else gone through this? Please message me if so. I feel very alone and confused. Also, do I tell their parents that this is why we are going to get a divorce? I have been isolating myself a lot because of this. User Autumn Laughter said, "I am guessing this wasn't the first time. I am sorry, OP. Please don't hesitate to tell people why you are divorcing so he doesn't have the opportunity to paint you as the bad guy." User Holiday Aside said, "It is time to air out all their dirty laundry and leave these cheaters in the dust. Of course, you should tell their parents why. It affects their family dynamic even after your divorce is finalized. You should not have to lie or omit anything about your life. Sunshine is sanitizing. Also, if they have always been close, they have definitely slept together before." User Dark Carnival Bro said, "I actually had a boyfriend cheat on me with his stepsister. It was a similar situation. They had been in each other's lives since they were kids. He was homeless at the time, so he was staying with my mom. He said he was going to invite his stepsister over to hang out because they had not seen each other in a long time, and I was okay with that. Well, my mom told me that they hooked up while she was there, and of course, I lost my mind. I confronted him and he admitted to it. He said it was like fulfilling a fantasy. He ended up getting chlamydia from her and she wound up pregnant. He claimed the baby even though the stepsister was seeing 3 other guys at the time. So yeah, you are unfortunately not alone." Sidebar, after I confronted him, he thought the move was to propose to me. He literally asked me to marry him. Update. I wanted more information on how long it has been going on and at what age it started, so I decided to text Claire. I told her I would not tell anyone if she answered my questions. She agreed to tell me everything. I asked her when they first had sex. At first, she told me it was their first time, but I told her I did not believe that. She then confessed that their first time was right before she turned 18. I am so disgusted and extremely concerned. Then I asked her if it had still been happening since then, and she said no. She explained that they did it when she was 17 and never did it again until last week. I do not think I can trust her though, I don't know. She also told me that Jack is the one who initiated sex, but who knows if that is the truth. It very well could be though. Jack and I have been together for 5 years. We were going to start trying for a baby soon, so I am crushed. I wasted so many years of my life with this man, I do not even know who he is right now. I lied to Claire though. I 100% planned on telling their parents. Some of you say that it would be wrong to do so, but because it happened when she was 17, I felt like they needed to know and deal with it however they choose. They did not believe me at first until I showed them the screenshots of my conversation with Claire. They still seem to be in denial a little bit. I do not blame them though. I told them I am filing for divorce and that I am moving on with my life. They gave me a hug and said they would speak to both of them, but I told my mother-in-law that I did not want to know anything else and to please let me live in peace. She is going to respect that. I more than likely will not have more updates, but I wanted everyone to know that I am definitely getting a divorce and going to find a therapist because I am depressed and need the support to move on. Thank you to everyone who was kind and gave me advice and support." This next post was made in the relationship subreddit by a user named ABC. The post is titled, "My husband saw some texts. I screwed up. My husband and I have been together for 3 years and married for almost 6 months." We usually have a great relationship, and this is completely on me. There is a guy I dated very briefly when I was about 18. It wasn't serious, I just knew we weren't going to be compatible and didn't want a serious relationship, so I broke up with him. My best friend of about 14 years has been talking to him. I do not care even a little bit. He is a good guy, so whatever. She has texted me and asked me questions about him that I have answered. The other day we were texting. She was telling me about their date and jokingly asked me about his size. I really should not have, and I regret it, but I basically told her he was big. It was just dumb joking text between friends that I didn't think anything of at the time. My husband saw these messages on my iPad. The message about his size, along with me saying what a good guy he is, has completely wrecked my husband. He is clearly hurt and has been really angry. I told my husband before that we briefly dated. He thinks I didn't tell him we had sex, but I thought it was implied from our conversation. I honestly think he did know but is lashing out to hurt me. I know that he is really hurt by what I said and I feel horrible. He has said some awful things to me though, and now when he does decide to talk to me, he just screams at me and wants every single detail of when I had sex with my ex. I haven't answered some of the questions because of the screaming, and I don't think it will be good for our relationship. I don't like this, and I hate my life right now. I have been apologizing every day, but we aren't getting anywhere. Everything I do makes him mad, and it has been bad. He is never like this, and I'm trying to be understanding because I did something horrible, but I don't know what to do. We have only been married for about 6 months, and it feels like I have already destroyed my marriage. User Difficult Track said, given that OP was 23 when they started dating and her husband seems to have expected to be told who she had sex with, I would venture to guess that he dated and married someone much younger than himself in the hopes that she would not have slept with very many people and would not have much sexual experience to compare him to. Now, finding out that she has been with someone who had a big dick, he feels insecure and inadequate. OP, this is abusive behavior. Even if your husband is not willing to get couples therapy, please consider individual therapy for yourself and assess your safety in the situation because he sounds like he could escalate. User MLeak said, there is no mistake you can make that justifies verbal abuse. A hurt person only becomes an abusive person because they believe they are entitled to abuse you. Don't lose sight of what you know is true. You reasonably disclosed your past relationships to him. His reaction of feeling hurt by a private conversation with the woman who is actually dating this ex is understandable, but hurt is where it ends. Rage is not justified. Abuse is not justified. He is an adult who needs to be able to manage his feelings without screaming at you. You deserve a marriage where your partner can deal with being hurt or upset without being abusive toward you. Apologizing won't solve this if he feels entitled to behave this way toward his wife. If that is his perspective, then this man was waiting for a reason to destroy this marriage, and he found one. You can try counseling, but frankly, I wouldn't recommend it if he doesn't recognize that his hurt is valid, but his verbal abuse is unacceptable. User Ass Flea said, your husband sounds like a crazy person. Who cares who you had sex with 8 years ago? That was 5 years before you even knew him. Honestly, I don't even really agree that the text was inappropriate. It's not like you brought it up, you were asked a question and you answered. You're not sitting there reminiscing unprompted. I bet you $1 million that if one of your husband's friends asked him about some former lover's body, he would answer without a second thought. To this, OP said, this response surprises me, and I thought the comments were going to be a lot worse toward me. In my mind, most guys would have a really negative reaction to those texts. This last post was made in the True Off My Chest subreddit by a user named OKResult. The post is titled, my husband just told me that he would divorce me if his late wife came back during an argument. My husband and I have been together for 10 years and we have been married for 6. He and his late wife were together for 3 years and married for 1. They have a son who is now 13. I know I don't come first in his eyes, and as a person who doesn't like a lot of attention, it has worked out pretty well. He goes to her grave every day after work and takes their son to her grave on the weekends for an hour to spend time with his mom. I work from home as an online tutor, helping kids with English and history. During COVID, my stepson was home with me doing school remotely. I've known him since he was 3, and we have a decent relationship. We bonded over shared hobbies like building Gundam models and reading the Percy Jackson books. Yesterday was his birthday, and I gifted him a special edition box set of the second series in the Riordan verse. When he opened my gift, he all but screamed and hugged me, and as he was thanking me, he called me Mom. I didn't say anything, but I did smile. I've raised him for almost 7 years, so sometimes I feel like his mother, even though I know our bond isn't biological. My husband became furious, and once my stepson went up to his room to read his new books, he began to yell at me. He said things like, "You're not his mom, how could you ever be his mom? How dare you let him call you mom? And you don't have any children, he's mine, not your son." To defend myself, I replied that I was glad my stepson saw me as a maternal figure. My husband blew up and told me if my wife came back from the dead, I would divorce you in an instant for her. Don't act so high and mighty because you help my son with homework sometimes or build stupid plastic figurines. No matter how many bedtime stories you read him, you are not and will never be his mother. It hurt my feelings. My husband and I are sleeping in separate rooms and I feel awful. I just don't know how to respond. I love my stepson, I love my husband, but right now I feel utterly devalued and replaceable. I just needed to express my feelings somewhere I know he won't find it. Thank you for reading. User Successful Hyena said, I'm concerned that he doesn't think his son deserves a mother figure. Why would he want to rob him of that? He knows his real mom is dead. He's old enough to understand who you are in his life. If his calling you mom makes him happy and gives him a semblance of normality, why not let him? Does him calling you that out of the blue warrant a discussion? Absolutely. But lashing out and saying the things he has said are not remotely okay, and I'd never be able to forget them. Your husband and son need therapy, and they should not be at a gravesite for hours every week. To this, OP said, I talked to him last night. This is the first time he has done it in front of me and his dad. I have rethought several discussions I've had with teachers during parent-teacher interviews where I had to let the teacher know I am the stepmom, not the mom. He told me I have been his mom to his friends at school for about 4 years. User Gullible Share said, I'm sorry, but I don't think you can come back from this. Someone who speaks to you like this and visits his wife every day is not mentally well. You deserve a better life. To this user Daisies4, me said, this is exactly what I thought. Reading this crushed me. I can't even begin to imagine how that made her feel. Jesus, man, what a terrible thing to say. He needs serious mental health help. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, Gamersupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.